rude boys gonna get you by degrees. Here comes the West Indies. And when you're facing the generals, nearly every ball is a funeral. And when we batting, brother, go and put your men on the boundary line. And if you give we a liquor, that is merely a hiccup. Look, you win the little battle, you lose the war. It's the same result every time. Everybody sing. Here comes the West Indies. Here comes the West Indies. Them rude boys gonna get you by degrees. Here comes the West Indies. I tell you now, here comes the West Indies. Here comes the West Indies. Them bad boys gonna bring you to your knees. Here comes the West Indies. Special request to the Trini posse. And what about the Guyana posse? And what about the Jamaica posse? And what about... We rule the cricket world. Now the rule seems coming to an end. But down here, just a chink in the armor is enough to lose a friend. Some of the old generals have retired and gone, and the runs don't come as they did before. But when the two sails go, don't you know the desert is gone? We've lost the battle, but yet we will win the war. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Rally from the West Indies forever. Rally from the West Indies. Never say never. Pretty soon the runs are going to flow again like water, bringing so much joy to each and every son and daughter. I say we're gonna rise again like a raging fire. As the sun shines, you know we can take it higher. But we got to walk. Rally from the West Indies forever, yeah. Rally from the West Indies. Way down under, a warrior falls. Michael holding falls to the heat of the battle. Michael should have left long time. I heard an angry brother shout, Caribbean man, that is the root of our trouble. In these tiny theaters of conflict and confusion that are known as the Isles of the West Indies, we already know who brought us here and who created this confusion. So I'm begging my people, please tell them, rally from the West Indies forever, yeah. Rally from the West Indies. Never say never. Pretty soon the runs are going to blow again like bringing so much joy to each and every son. I said we're gonna rise again like a raging. As the sun shines, you know we can take it higher. But we got to rally from the West Indies forever, yeah. Rally from the West Indies now and forevermore.
Thank God for David Rudder, David Michael Rudder, the poet, philosopher of Calypso, and one who was blended cricket, politics, history, and of course, hope. Sometimes hope against hope. Not Shea Hope, hope. ah, the philosophy of C.L.R. James. Cricket goes beyond the boundary. Good evening to you, wherever you're joining us from. We are going to talk cricket. We have the full complement tonight. Butcher and Adams will be joining me. They're ready to go. Quite a week, quite a week, quite a week. Uh, West Indies surrendering both the one-day series and the T20 series to Sri Lanka. Some of you may say, well, what's new? Rutherford, Sharfin Rutherford, ooh, some may say is taking on the tag of one of the bad boys of West Indies cricket, but certainly a revelation in the series, the one-day series, the ODI series, and the way he batted there, despite his limitations, which are West Indian limitations, he showed tremendous maturity, courage, and if West Indies were another country, oh, what would we give to see Rutherford playing in the test team? Um, uh, Lord. Um, Another one of the bad boys, Evan Lewis, coming good after being inexplicably left out for the first two ODIs. I am beginning to have serious doubts. Well, I have always had serious doubts, but I'm having more serious doubts about the one-man selection story. I think Sammy's making some errors in selection, some grave errors, and I think it has to do with the fact that he likes some of the players. Clearly, somebody like Athanaze, for all his talents, I cannot see how you're going to be repeatedly picking Athanaze and Carty in front of people like Rutherford and so on. It just doesn't make sense to me. You're losing. It's not time to be recycling failures and semi-failures. Um, that's just my take. The two experts are going to weigh in on that because I'm going to be asking that. Selection, I think, is part of the problem. Part of the problem as we go along. England is arriving in a couple of days. If not, they're there already. I think Thursday we are set to bowl off in Antigua. And Shamar Joseph did not play in the ODIs. And again, inexplicably, left the squad a couple of days before the last ODI and a couple of days before they travel home. Has he flown to Antigua? We don't know. Is he going to be playing in the upcoming series against England? We don't know. Tongues are wagging in the Caribbean. Why Joseph flew home? We are going to be talking about all of that. As England come in, what are our prospects? What are our prospects? We'll talk about that. The Super 50 bowls off this week also. Scheduling conflicts, but that is understood. We have to get international cricket in, and we've got to play domestic cricket also. So there's some clashes. So basically, the Super 50 teams will be without the stars, so to speak, the first rate players, if you will. But it's a good opportunity for others to come forward and to show their mettle. So we'll be following that with keen interest. Further afield, New Zealand, the Black Caps. In my time, and Adam's time and Butcher time, when we were boys and young men, we talk about the Kiwis. Now they're the Black Caps. Registering a rare series victory in India. Oh boy, the cracks are beginning, in my view, and I'm advised that I may be premature, but I think some cracks are beginning to show up in India. I think New Zealand exposed India here. And never in the last decade have I seen Kohli been so easy to get out, for example. But I like the fact that New Zealand beat them, because I think you have to bring this big tree down. The Whalers had a song, when the big three music recording studios. I think it was Studio One, Cox and Dodd, Prince Buster had a studio, and somebody else. But it's the three studios at the turn of the 1970s came together in a kind of conglomerate. And the Whalers were coming up at that time. They weren't yet Bob Marley in the Whalers. They were the Whalers, Peter Tosh, Bunny Whaler, and Bob Marley. And they wrote a song and sang a song, very popular song, one of my favorites. If you are the big tree, we are the small axe, waiting to cut you down, real sharp, to cut you down. And I really think the big tree, and I'm talking about Australia, India, and England, need to be brought down to earth. So I was also quite gratified to see India Pakistan coming from behind and whooping England comprehensively. I mean, literally two bowlers, two aging spinners, bust England ass. Had no answer. And I think it's good for cricket, it's good for world cricket, it's good for the politics of cricket to see India and England being beaten in that way. I had to examine myself, because it's no secret. Anytime non-white teams were playing the white teams, when I was a boy, you always want the non-white teams to win, Where I was supporting a white team, New Zealand, against India, it shows how much cricket politics have changed and how your outlook, as third world people, as as you all know, West Indies cricket could be limping on one foot. When they see England, their eyes open big. big. And somewhere they just pull out the stops most of the time these days. But here I was supporting New Zealand against India, because the politics have changed. India have become one of the I want to be very careful, but India have become big for the shoe. And I think the fact that India and England have been brought down to earth is good. India is going to Australia next. I don't know what going back there, because it's two of the biggies. But anyhow, welcome. I notice you all are ready to roll. Let me bring in the experts, and we are going to tease out some of the subjects that I have teased out here. Good evening, Dr. Adams. Good evening, Sir Butcher.
Hey, good evening, Dr. Hinds. Hey, Basil, how are you doing? And good evening to your viewers, Dr. Hinds.
Yep.
Mr. Butcher, your father, 209 was which year? 66.
66.
And 133.
63.
63. And so English people must know Butcher. I mean, those were two. When I speak to experts, those were two of the greatest innings played by West Indians at any time in cricket. I mean, we hear about Greenwich's double century in 1984,
right,
as one of the great innings of world cricket. The old timers told me of Kanai's 217 against New Zealand and Pakistan, sorry, and it's 256 against India.
What about the 256 against India?
Yes, 256 against India has been really great innings, and I've heard of Sober's 132 in Australia in the 61 series. As really
13 at Sabina Park.
Right. Lara's
that might be the greatest innings ever in cricket.
Exactly. Lara's one, I can't remember how much it was in
153.
Barbados.
153, yeah.
153 in Barbados in 1999. And of course, people still talk of his 277 in Australia. And I don't want to go on and on because I may be forgetting. But you should give Basil, you should give don't are you Sparrow's friend?
No.
Mighty Sparrow? Well, you should give Buckingham Palace a call and tell them posthumously. That's why I'm calling you Sir Butcher. Posthumously. Because of those two
you gotta remember that when they was giving out things, Guyana became a republic, and the old boy was the first ever sportsman to get a national award when they did it in 1970 or whatever that was, right? He was the very first sportsman, so he got his award from Guyana.
But I still think you need to call Buckingham Palace, but don't tell them you know Sparrow. Don't tell them you know Sparrow.
It's funny. I got a friend, Nolan McKenzie, who play for Guyana, right?
Play for Guyana, yes.
He lives in Nottingham. And about 20 years ago, I was in England. And I went up and spent the day with him, right? And he was a player coach for the club. So I went and I had a little knock in the practice indoors. So he had to drop me back to the train station because I had to head back to London. So he called me next day telling me that you were a joker. I said, "What you tell me I was a joker?" He said, when he come back, the chairman of the club and the president was there. And they told them that I was there. So the guys asked him, "Where is he? We want to buy him a drink." So he telling me, what they want to buy a joker drink. I said, no. They wanted to pay respects for the 209 not out. That's what they wanted to do. As the headline said, butchery at Trent Bridge.
At Trent Bridge. Doc, I'm sure you would agree that Sir Butcher should become Sir Butcher.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, no question. I was pinned to the radio them times you got television.
Right.
Them times you get up early.
Yes.
And you still you're missing a ball.
Yeah.
Those were the
remember that innings. I remember that innings.
You're walking down the street, you see everybody with a little transistor.
That's right. You're stopping at every shop. When going to school. You stop in every shop for here. I remember even the teachers used to bring the little pocket radio.
Yes.
Like Hector Paris and them folks did that a little. Remember them little pocket radio?
Yes. Even when you go to cricket, you see people listening on the transistor as they watching the game.
Yeah. No, I was a kid, and I started to follow cricket in that kind of way. But I remember we had a man named Rugum. He always get you radio, and he was a cricket philosopher and cricket historian.
Every
And
every
I
every
remember,
every area had somebody like that.
yeah. And I hear
Yeah.
Rugum arguing that the greatest innings ever played in cricket is the 209 by Butcher. At that, Butcher, I remember distinctly, Butcher taking 5 wickets, bowling his optimistic
Leg
leg
break.
break against Trinidad. And
England,
I think that was
England,
England,
Trinidad,
1971.
England and Trinidad.
Yes,
Yeah,
68.
England and Trinidad. Right.
68,
That was
yeah.
68. And I remember, so Butcher's name was in the air. So I remember lying down my bed. I didn't understand cricket too well and so on. But I hear Rugum saying the greatest innings ever played by Basil Butcher 2000. And that stuck in my mind. When I started to get sense about cricket, I went and read up on the 2009. That's one of the first thing. Yes.
Hey, but you know that used to bowl a pretty good
Good
leggy. You know, I think
Yeah.
I think if he had concentrated a little bit more, he used to bowl a good because he used to bowl leg break, googly, and the flipper. And I remember, you know, the great DCC team. When I used to play for Mackenzie, every time we played DCC, Butch used to carry the team, all of them, all the big stars. So here, you know, so I go to Georgetown now to go to UG. My first game against Mackenzie for DCC. I put a beating in Butcher every time he throw up the leg because I used to pitch, right?
Yeah.
That's what he throw gun on the wicket, knock it down on whatever the street. Here he tell me, you say you could only do it because of small ground.
Good evening to you all.
At this 100 in he, at this 130 something in here, Mackenzie. They couldn't, and then there couldn't be decency after that because I used to take care of any leg.
You beat up on your mentor. Good evening to you all. Welcome to Politics 101 tonight. Good evening. Dennis Booker, remember Rugum? Them Philander from Line Top? Always, he ride the bicycle and he always got a radio, a pocket radio, no matter what. And he was good, not just as cricket history, politically, of course, for them, people of that generation, cricket and politics were intertwined.
Yes.
You know? And always Rugum, Mr. Philander. And he had a brother, Tony Philander. Tony, I think if Tony was serious, he would have played for Guyana at any time. We used to call him Lawrence Rowe. He was that good. But he was a man, he would play a square cut. And then I said, ran by Lawrence Rowe. And he done for the day. Once he played, and he never went on. Typical village boy, full of talent. But, you know, I mean, you're in the village, you think, you know, and then by the time, you know, he got into his 30s, all ambition, you know, were gone. But he was really, really good. Tony Philander, brother.
I think if you, I mean, everybody could talk about people growing up with them.
Yeah.
But because the environment was not as encouraging, so a lot of guys just dropped out, you know, and didn't continue didn't see this as an option, and they dropped out. Or they got some guys realize that for be good, I ain't got really put in a lot of work. I'm able though.
Yeah, but you know too, Basil, they got some that I played with, they never took the game seriously. Like I played with a guy named Wayne Stugo.
Yes, Stugo.
I tell you, I have seen Wayne Stugo beat some bowling, and I'm talking about national players, English and Carl and Miller. I mean, when he catch them, he used to put some lashes in them, and the guy was just nonchalant about everything he does, and he was just a natural athlete.
Yes.
Table tennis.
Yes.
Wayne was as good a table as anybody in the country. Football, he used to play football for Mackenzie, but he never took anything seriously. Even when he came up to America, Bassett can tell you, Wayne used to beat up bowling in
Tuga's a legend in America.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he
I
never
played
took it,
with him.
never took it seriously. You know, he never,
Yeah.
never took it seriously. But you saw, and then we got some people too. Basa can tell they got one of the most correct players that I've seen is Paul Dunbar, a guy
That's
named
right.
Paul Dunbar.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
He played for Mackenzie.
He used to play for Mackenzie.
When your
Yes.
wife see Dunbar cover drive, he said West Indies.
Yeah. My cousin, I got a cousin who is there in Linden now. He was the mayor of Linden and the REO, Orange Garden.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know Orange.
Is my cousin. Natural ball. He played anything with a ball.
Yeah, he played for
Anything.
Guyana.
He played for Guyana
19.
on the 19 with Calichuran, Derek Calichuran,
With Boxhill and them.
and Boxhill and them. I remember when he played and he come back and he tell me about Carlisle Best.
Yes.
And how Carlisle Best would be talking to himself when he batting and
That's
said
true.
Best.
Commentated.
He commentated when he played.
Commentated.
But
Yeah,
Orin was
you talk about talk to yourself. There's nobody better than a guy named Renford Pinnock.
Oh yes,
Oh God,
Pinnock,
Pinnock was
pretty Pinnock.
Oh yeah. Well, neat. As a little boy, that's the one thing I remembered of popping up. Even the cricket pans, the seam could cut you. That's the thing I remember. He was neat.
But none of them couldn't beat Rupert Gomes though. Gomes
Rupert was, as we call him, George Travolta.
But Rupert, and then another one I played with in Trinidad named Wayne Smart. He's an attorney, became an attorney. Wayne Smart and Gomesy, I don't know which one.
Is that photo finish?
Here, you see, when we play for Guyana, even in our 19 and national team, when we get a water break, Gomesy used to run in quick in the dressing room and got for dopey here.
Yeah. Oren Gordon was really good at a very good ball player, but he was also bright.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When in those days, when you write GCA, you get 7 subjects. There's plenty,
Yeah.
equal, and he got 7. So he was bright. On top of the fact that he was an athlete, and of course, poor parents, they put more emphasis on him, on his academics, and I always felt that he didn't put as much interest in cricket as he did in his academics. Had he done so, I think he would have gone. I remember him bowling down Desmond Hinds at Border I think it was a trial match or something there. Mm-hmm. And he reminds me of Oren, this by Ford, with that in swinger that he bowls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Oren was really a natural in swinger, natural bowler in swinger. But so many of our cricketers, when Nolan McKenzie and Keith Sempler, I always believe that those boys were better than
what their results show.
Yes, better than what their results show.
Yes.
Gentlemen, so not unexpectedly, West Indies surrendered the 2 series to Sri Lanka, but there were a couple of bright spots. The brightest spot, of course, is Rutherford. Y'all talk to me a little bit about Rutherford, and I tell Rutherford because I used to fetch with Rutherford. I saw him when he first started to play for Guyana, and I said, this here is a special talent. Bowl, bat, feel, and you could see he was special. And then he got into the T20 thing, and he just faded away. But he's back now. And I think those 3 innings he played in the one-day international gave us an insight into the real Rutherford as a batter. Talk to me. Who wants to start? Go right ahead.
Go ahead, Vincent. Go ahead.
Well, we've got a guy in our chat. This will be music to his ear.
Of course.
Oh, you got a guy in the chat who
Who's a Rutherford man?
Who's a Rutherford man? Okay.
That's right. The man from day one, the man has always said that he's a better batsman than Hetmeyer. Why? So no, but he has really come around, and now he's in really good form. But you see, again, you remember I keep saying all the time, confidence. When you get to that level, if you get one good score, confidence could do so much for you after then, because you start feeling you're invincible when you're walking out there. You just give you're gonna go dominate. So now he's got all the confidence. It's not that he's a better batsman, by the way, but he's got the confidence because he's making run. But in terms of the results, I think that at least in this final game that we won, the decision, the two decisions that they made, that result was lowest, because it baffled everybody as to why Lewis didn't play in the before.
Right. In the one day, right.
So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is moving Rutherford up the order.
Yeah.
And so I hope that continues. But I'm like you. I do not like, I don't know if any other team, Basil probably could comment on this. I don't know if any other team where one man picks a team. I don't think in any management of anything, whether it's cricket or anything, I do not understand how they could just allow one man to pick a team. And I'm like you, Doc. I think they better change that, because we are human beings, and we've got we got our preferences. You might want to call it biases or whatever it is, for whatever reason, and that is why you have input from other people. It's craziness to have one man picking this team. And so that's my take. But I hope that we continue on a winning streak here with England coming down. But I think that those are the two moves that I think made a big. There's no way that Lewis should be out of any white ball cricket team. None. And now hopefully Rutherford is going to get his opportunity, higher up in the order.
Bassett, before you come in, Ian Williams is making a point here that is a family secret. Oren Gordon was very, very quick. GCC destroy him. They let him bowl all day. He was big and strong, eh? His false name in the village was Big Wolf. Big Wolf, is his false name. Big Wolf, big and strapping, and a tremendous stamina. Eh? And we knew that in boxing, GCC. And Nascimento, I think, was the captain. Right. Used to bowl him in case.
What that? Yeah. Come on. I didn't know that he used to play for GCC. But why would a quick bowler want to go play club cricket at GCC of all places? A fast bowler? I know the batsman was going to.
It's the elite club, Vincent.
If I'm a fast bowler, you think I can go GCC as a fast bowler? There's no way. He should have gone DCC or something.
He should have gone with his schoolmate Boxhill to DCC.
That's right.
Yeah. Because they
all no place as a fast bowler.
Right.
The two of them open bowling at QC.
At QC, man, Basil, that's why you're the historian. Yeah, but we always knew that.
No, I know both guys, and I know a bit about their careers from school cricket and so on. Because that was the time I was coming up.
Right. He was trapping, and he would bowl all day. Oren would be bowling because he named Oren Gardner. Oren would be bowling 20. I go watch Case Cup 20 something.
You can't be a quick bowler and bowling all day.
Yeah. And he would do it manfully.
Yes. Especially at GCC. That's hard work at GCC for a quick bowler. You making a joke?
But. Yeah. So,
Rutherford. Look, I watch Rutherford even in the T20, and the thing that impressed me most about him is that he is a crisis batsman. If you look, and he's a match-winning batsman. Both of those two characteristics about him, no coach can want a guy like that out of the team. That you got a guy you could depend on. You're under the pump as a team, and he walked to the middle, and he can play accordingly. remember we saw it against New Zealand. If he didn't play that inning against New Zealand, we might have been out of the World Cup. He came in, we was down by 4 or 5 wickets, and he pushed on, and then exploded at the end, gave us a score that we could defend, and we beat up New Zealand. He went to Australia in the last T20 game. He came 6 or something not out. We won that game. I go back even to when he played. He made 100 for Guyana last year in the list state. Came in again. Guyana was in all kinds of trouble with wickets down. And he pushed wrong, and then exploded and made 100. So he has shown that temperament. And I agree with you, Dr. Hinds. In terms of playing spin, he's somewhat limited. I think the areas where he needs to learn, he needs to improve is using his feet, being able to use the crease, the depth of the crease, as well as sweep shots. Them is 3 things I think he needs to enhance to make him even a more dangerous player. But he plays within his limitations. And when you come, one thing about him, you come in this area, he can destroy you. And he played, I remember yesterday, he played a shot where he was standing outside the leg stump because they're looking to bowl leg side, right? Because they're defending the boundary over there. And he stayed outside the leg stump. And the guy bowled the ball between him and the stump. And he was able to hit it through the covers for 4. I even said to myself, I don't want to start story with chat and say, even Hetmyer couldn't play that shot.
Yeah, and Basil, it was wide of the leg. So I remember that shot.
I couldn't believe the power that he was able.
I remember that. I remember it.
That he got the strength of his wrist to play that shot with that power. I mean, even the commentator was like, "My God, what!"
And the ball was at a fairly good height too, but
yes,
it wasn't as if it was a fairly good height.
So I'm glad to see him doing well. I thought he's also, I don't know why he doesn't bowl more, because he was a very useful bowler.
Right, very.
When he first came into the Guyana team, I didn't know about the guy. He was playing they had him playing as a bowling all-rounder.
A bowler all-round? Yes, he was a bowling all-rounder.
Batting at 8 or something like that, right? Yeah. And I remember his coach, Gavin Ned complained one day and we chat, Sharfane is an out-and-out batsman that bowls. He's open batting for DCC, right? And I was like, what? Yeah, I got to opening batsman batting at 8, right? And that's how they had pegged him down. And, no, you can't put him in no hate. But I think he needs to start back bowling, because not even bowler, he bowls with some decent pace. He got a little ambling up, but boy, when he let that ball go, because I remember a game, a first class game, he destroyed Barbados, carried 6 of them.
Yes.
And pace and bunks and all kind of thing he was doing with them. So he's a very useful cricketer. And as Vincent said, one thing I've always heard players, when they get to that level, one of the most important things for them is to make they want to see if they belong. And belonging is when you get a good score, then when you get that confidence, you know you belong at this level, and everything else is possible. And Lewis, I agree with you. Lewis, I remember several years ago, it was undisputable. Lewis was our best white ball batter, period. T20 and ODI. And when he showed that form right away in the first game of making a 50, I think that's where I think the coach should have had him from the ball one, from game 1 in the ODI. One thing I must give Lewis credit for, he has seized this opportunity with both hands. Now, he has thrown the ball in the court of the selector. Who you picking to open this batting? I have done my bit, right? Yeah. That's where you want to be as a player. You've done your job. He made a 50 and now make 100.
You know, I every time I look at people like Lewis and now Rutherford, I do not see any reason why those guys should not be playing Test cricket, should not be, first of all, playing more 4-day cricket, more first-class cricket. And I think the way West Indies cricket is now, I think we need to get our best players playing Test cricket. I know there are issues between players and the board and so on, but I I may be wrong, but I get the sense that Rutherford has decided, look, I am now going to commit myself to playing international cricket, playing West Indies cricket, and I think he's one of the players that you can sit down and reason with. Now, we don't play more than 3 test matches at any given time. I mean, Bangladesh is coming 2 test matches, right? And I think you can persuade somebody like Rutherford, somebody like Evan Lewis, and say, look, this is 3 weeks of your time, at most. And encourage them, give them the assurance, and bring them in the test team. When I saw both of them batting there, I said, but that's one day, is a 1-day match, but I mean, they could have been batting in a test match. I think they showed temperament, which I think is the problem with West Indies cricketers. It's temperament and match awareness. And when I looked at those 2 guys batting there yesterday, I said they showed temperament and they showed batting awareness. At some time, I was saying, press your foot on the gas, but clearly they knew when to go into ODI mode and when to switch to T20 mode. And I think maybe those guys should be persuaded to play test cricket. Your thoughts, gentlemen?
I look, one of the biggest obstacles of Vincent would know this is not so much the board relationship with guys. Guys just don't want to play test cricket. That's one of the big problems. They just don't want to play. It's not that they've not been approached. I know for a fact Lewis was approached by the people in Trinidad to play for Trinidad for them in the first class, and he said no, he's not interested in playing. And this was when Lewis was playing cricket more regularly, and he said he wasn't interested in playing. Rutherford could be a different situation. Rutherford had some issues at one time with the Guyana, the cricket board there, and when Sarwan came into office as the chairman, Sarwan reached out to him, had a conversation with him, and that's how he came back into playing for Guyana, right? So, first class season coming up, but if it's clashing, I know if it's clashing with these guys, T20 domestic league, they ain't giving up the T20 domestic league to play first class. Well, the thing about it, West Indies have said, board said they have removed the requirements in terms of selecting a player for any format. They don't have to play that format. So it's going to be up to the coach to decide whether I look at this guy, how he batted in ODI. I think this is a guy I could take a look at in the test team and talk to the guy and see if he wants to play and pick him.
Doctor?
No, I totally agree with Basil. I mean, I think it's a known fact, and no secret that a lot of these players, and what happens is when a player is coming up, to build your reputation, you play anything, you because you got to make a name for yourself. But as soon as you get to that place where you've established yourself, you it's not like a long time, Dr. Hinds, where the only format we had, like in my time, the only format we had to play was 4-day cricket, and we strive for that in the days of Basil Fado. Even though it was one, maybe you might get 1 test series a year or something, but that's the only thing. Nowadays, them guys got so much option. And here's the other thing, and I hear this directly from the selector. When these stars, a lot of them were approached, one of them said, you think, if I've got to make a choice between going out there for half hour batting compared to 4 days, because test cricket hard.
Yes.
Test cricket hard. For 4 days, I can go there for a half hour and make plenty more money that I can make for going for 4 days, 4 and 5 days. So that's the big difference nowadays. Them guys and this test cricket thing and you probably, even because you're out there more often, it's so strenuous. It puts a lot of stress on the body too, depending on what role you play. In T20, for example, a ball only bowled four overs.
Right.
right? In 50 over game, he bowled 10 overs. In Test cricket, you might bowl 20 overs in a
20.
day.
20.
Yeah.
Because Dr. Hinds, I remember this guy, Bravo, the big Bravo. When Phil Simmons got the job, right? Phil Simmons spoke to all the IPL players. And Phil Simmons, big Bravo, tell Phil, he said, Phil, for the money they're playing for paid Test cricket, I can't play no Test cricket for that kind of money. Yeah. It is not worth my time to play for $5,000 or whatever it was. It's not worth my time. When I can go and play 2 weeks and get $60,000 or $100,000 a tournament, nah, I can't play for that. I can't blame him. I mean, as an athlete, you're looking to lengthen your time and make as much. And playing 5 days cricket, putting all the stress on your body, nah. So it's a challenge. It's gonna be a challenge.
It is really a challenge. And then the other thing is, especially in the West Indies, where you know when last you look at the test match in the West Indies, the place is empty. Well, nobody, you know. And when you're playing cricket, it makes a difference. You know, you come and you know you got a big full stand. But nowadays you go look, you play even the 4-day games in the West Indies, empty. You got more people on the field and
it's a chicken and egg, because you know, if the stars are there, you're likely to pull a little bit more people in. But then the people are not there. The stars don't want to go and play in front of the crowd. Be really in thing. No, I'm not getting into your Linden story, but
Basil destroyed Michael Clark's career. He was the fastest bowler from Linden. I don't know who that is.
You know Michael Clark, Doc?
Basil, how does Michael say the best cricketer from Linden when the only cricketer from Linden
is you?
Is for represent Guyana is me.
This guy here. I don't know what this guy talking about.
I don't want to get into your
but you know these names, Vincent. Weldon Seeley.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Weldon. I know Weldon. He used to bowl. He was a. As a matter of fact, I used to coach. I was a teacher when I was a teacher. Seeley used to bowl. He played for Mackenzie too. He used to bowl break, leg break, and used to bat a little bit. Yeah, he was a good. He was a goodish cricketer.
What about Michael Clark? Who is Michael Clark?
Yeah, I know Michael Clark. Michael, as a matter of fact, Michael was one again. He went to my school too. When I teach as a young teacher, Michael Clark went to I talk about Michael Adams by that. Okay. Michael Clark. I can't remember Michael Clark.
He was the fastest bowler from Linden.
Nah.
Very interested.
Nah. We had a lot of quicks. We had Parky and then after Parky.
Then later on, Farley, my cousin Keith Farley played for
Farley. And then you
Farley was quick.
And then you even had the other Linden who represent Guyana.
Grenville, Mark
Grenville.
My class.
Yes, Grenville.
Yeah.
So, I don't know Keith Farley was that quick.
Yeah. When Keith played with Wayne Daniels, the year he played in the same tournament, it was between him and Wayne Daniel who was the quickest guy.
Where is the joke, Basil? When in that same 100 that I put for Mackenzie, I done pass 100. When you may pass 100, you know, you're looking for anything. And Seeley not Seeley. I just analyze you every time. I see up in Washington the last.
Yeah, he live in Maryland.
And he bowled me a bumper.
Yeah.
And I get up on my toes and back drive through cover. Now, if a man bowl a bumper and you back drive through extra cover.
I did not have to talk about my friend like that.
You might talk. When Fredo come back from Australia, you know, the 169 series. When we met the 169.
Yeah.
Mackenzie playing GCC and Fredo playing. And Keith gone bowl shot to Fredo. And Fredo put the lash in here, the Obai telling, Obai saying, Skipper, The man just come back from Lillian Thompson, bowl the ball properly. If you don't bowl the ball properly, you ain't gonna bowl another ball. The ball shot the friend. He just see Thompson, Lillian, you are what about the man, come on, man.
I will not have you all talk with my friend Keith like that. He's in Maryland. So
Yeah.
Maryland man. You know.
No, Dr. Hinds, Keith is my cousin. His father and my mother are first cousins. His grandfather, my grandmother's brother and sister.
Yeah. Every time I see Keith, I see in DC up to.
He was home recently. Yes.
Recently.
I don't remind you about that back drive. but here's the joke about that. When I was on 9, he bowled me a bumper and I hook. And his other partner, the other quick Solomon, you know, by the DCC Pavilion?
Yeah.
Solomon stamped the ball past through and hit in the head and go for 6.
In case you're just joining us, Destiny's
I
Cricket.
was on 9 at the time.
Destiny's Cricket 101, and we're mixing it up here tonight.
Paid the price for 100.
That's right.
and it looks like a lot of y'all of Linden people are on here tonight. You're telling me Teddy Ramasar, Errol Jack from Linden.
Teddy is on there?
Well, no, Johnny is telling us about Teddy Ramasar.
Yeah, Teddy was a good wicketkeeper batsman. Yes.
Ramasar brothers, boy?
Yes. That's one of the Ramasar. That's the youngest one.
Okay.
Hey. Gentlemen, Shamar Joseph didn't play.
I mean, it's unfortunate.
Butch, you don't stammer like that. You don't normally stammer.
One of my biggest bugbears with the West Indies Cricket Board is their media relations. They leave things to cause people to speculate, and the things run wild, and rumors just take a life of their own, when at many times they could prevent that by giving you facts. We don't need to know details, but put it in the parameter. Okay, Joseph went home, blah blah blah. Right? You don't gotta get into details.
You got no family business.
So right now, everybody speculated. You got people speculating, well, maybe you got some problem with the setup, with the coaching staff, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. Right? So nobody knows, because all it says personal. Is the same modus operandi you see when Rutherford was let go. Personal reasons with the St. Kitts Nevis in the CPL. It's the same media template that they're using, where other parts of the world would tell you where X thing happened with this guy's family. If a player has an issue within the setup, they say due to some disciplinary issues. They don't have to get into the details. You know what I mean? You just say if a player gets sent home because of disciplinary reason things, and you leave it at that. That's not for us to know the grimy details, right? When they sent home Bravo got sent home with a tweet, right? And a tweet, and he was sent home. They said he violated terms of his contract by saying blah blah blah. Right, we know why he got sent home. We ain't got to get in, but in that case, it was something online so people could see it.
Doc?
Yeah, no, I agree with Basil. I think they don't have to give the details, but at least, but the thing is, you can read through the lines that it's not anything that is complimentary, to be honest. Because had it been a wedding, had it been a funeral, had it been
birth of a child,
but you're right. All you have to say, and I don't know if it's disciplinary action, but at least give you a couple of words or so. Mm-hmm. But then you start speculating. I mean, you would not believe the amount of speculation and everything else that people are, and it's not good for the boy, or it's not good for even the board. I think they should be more forthcoming, not to get into any, you know, details. But yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Yeah, you know, I totally agree.
And
Totally
the
agree.
reason I'm nervous is because 9 months ago, this man was on top of the world. He was the most talked about cricketer in the world. And you are nervous because you're wanting to know, is he losing his way? Is he not being managed properly? What is his story? It may not be any of those things.
Exactly.
Yeah. But like you said,
it leads to a bunch of speculation because when you hear personal reasons, right? I mean, that's such a broad brush.
England is almost here. They're probably in Antigua already because the first match
they're already in the region.
They're already in the region.
I saw a picture last week with because England, young Bettel, the Bajan boy that's playing for England, he took a picture with Franklin Stevenson, because I think the England team must have come into Barbados first before they headed over to Antigua.
Antigua, yes.
And
they
were.
You mean they come home to Barbados?
Of course. And apparently they must have been doing training at Franklin Stevenson's academy. He got a nice facility there in Barbados. Bettel was one of his charges as a youngster. He came up through his academy, you know. So there was a picture with him and Bettel. So it's obvious they were in the region already. And maybe some of the players, like I know the Barbadian players, because this guy, Joffrey Archer, was already in Barbados playing club cricket in Barbados, you know, getting himself ready for this series. So yeah, so I the England team already.
Any thoughts on the series? I mean,
I'm hoping. I mean, I would like to see Mr. Puran play the 50 over series too. I would hope Mr. Puran would play the 50 over. I would hope that Hussein comes back and plays both 50 over and T20. Those are two people I would bring into the 13.
And you're leaving out Doc friend.
Who's that?
From Kanji.
Oh yes, he's not in the 50 over. Not at all.
Hetmai's not in your 50 over team.
No. No. I'm not picking Hetmai in the 50 over. Hetmai is in contention for 2020, not 50 over. I don't even have Shepherd in my 50 over squad.
No, I don't have
Shepherd. I pick in 13 and the three seamers. If Joseph don't have no issue, is the two Josephs and the guy Seals from Trinidad.
Right.
Those three, along with the two left arm spinners and Chase to be the third spinner. And if Mr. Puran, Lewis, King, Hope, Athenaeus would be one of the other batters in the squad. Guys, 13, I picked 13 because, you know, at home we're not gonna got 15 guys going around. It can probably be 13.
Yeah.
Your squad.
No, I agree with that. But if Puran is the key, if we can get back, Puran has to play. It makes a big difference to have a Puran in the team. But I'll bring in Puran in the squad without question, and because with that same team that just finished playing there, in terms of the squad, and I think that's a good core if they just can add Puran. And I like Basil. I think Hetty, unless Hetty, you know, brings himself, show that he wants to play anything more than T20, you know. He's gonna have
but you're all rooting for Puran to come in the team, and he's not showing that he wants to play.
No.
Yeah, but you're all not giving the same compliment to Hetty.
The reason why I say about Puran played 50 over for us in the World Cup qualifiers.
No, Puran is in my team.
So, but I mean, I Hetmai, for example, look, Hetmai didn't go on the tour and he didn't make himself available to play for Ghana.
Right.
And that's why I'm looking at.
My point is this, gentlemen.
I don't know. I didn't see the Trinidad squad, right? I didn't see the Trinidad squad. So it would lead me to believe if Puran is not in the Trinidad
Puran is not in the Trinidad squad.
So that tells me that he probably has made himself available to play for West Indies.
Right. Hetmyer is not in the Guyana squad.
No.
Which means that Hope is not in the
No, none of those guys,
none of them.
None of them.
Hetty's in my look. My point is this: Hetmyer is a headache. I know he's up your head and so on. Hetmyer and Puran are our two best batsmen, period. And we need to have them playing. Hetmyer's attitude, I don't know whether they hire a psychiatrist. I don't know. but I know the problem. But I am saying he and Puran are our two best batsmen. And we should do everything to get them on the park.
But here's where I differ there a little bit, Doc. Physically yes, but batting. Remember, batting is a combination of your physical ability and it adds to your mental ability, and that's where if you recall, I always separate Puran from Hetmyer because Puran is a more in terms of adapting mentally. Look, well, you know what made me respect Puran so much. Of course, since I saw him as a little boy when he played in England, he impressed me. However, that accident that Puran had and came out of that accident, and you put him in the field. I saw him do some things in the field as a wicket keeper.
Yes,
he is just much better than Hetty. Hetmyer comes in.
No, but I'm not comparing him and Hetty. I'm not saying he or Hetty. I'm saying both of them, the two of them are our best batsmen.
Well, I am not sure. But no, Hetty may have been there because I did the part that to me that he's lost is that mental toughness or want to play there, and Puran has proven that to me. And I've got some batsmen in front of that same Lewis. He's not a better.
No, Lewis is an opener, so I'm not comparing Lewis, but I'm saying in middle order. In that middle order where we are pushing the Atenays and the Carty.
Not Atenays.
How can they be in a team in front of Hetmyer if my half fit Hetmyer? I mean, come on. Come on, gentlemen.
I am comparing Atenays and them.
Atenays is a test player, though. Atenays is a test player.
Yeah, but I would not put him right now. I would not put him.
No, Atenays is in the squad, but he's not gonna be in my 11.
I get a friendly.
But I would not put him as the number 2 in terms of the right after Puran. At least right now on farm. I would got Jine, our good friend in our chat, and put we've always had this argument, Rutherford, even now right up there at the top, and of course Lewis. But I'm hoping, and he showed signs of it. I'm hoping that Hetty could bring back that mental aspect of his batting again. And
but you got to do that on the field. I think my batting order, if they're going with the formula of 6 batters, 5 bowlers with Rutherford as a 6 bowler, it's Lewis, King, Hope, Puran, Hetmyer, Rutherford. My 6 batters. If you're going with 6 batters and you're playing Chase as a bowling all-rounder, my 6 batters. So that in this team here that played this last one day, Joel Andrew and Carty make way for Hetmyer and Puran. That's my 11.
Yeah, but Carty is another guy that really got to buck up, because I looked at Carty's career today because I was on another show early this morning. Carty has a strike rate as an ODI batsman of 67. That's test batting. That's not ODI batting, right? Carty has never in his entire career playing ODI cricket. I was stunned. that he has never played an inning where he had 100 strike rate or more. Never in his ODI career. His best strike rate in his career is 90. You can't win games with a guy batting like that in today's ODI. Because what that tells you, you're soaking up a lot of dot balls because he's going to be batting in the middle overs. That's the area where we struggle the most, right? That's where the spinners come on and all of that kind of stuff, right? And that he's going to have to really do something for that. The other thing is whereas when you look at him versus Atenes got 12 games, but Atenes scores a lot quicker than he does.
Yeah, his strike rate is
for that reason. Atenes gets the edge, but Atenes' problem is that he looks to play too many shots, right? And throw away his wicket more times than not. This guy who's this guy like Clark, man? He just making comments for his response to his attitude.
I was about to ask you what's behind the scene. What's the story?
I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about.
Harper respond for his attitude.
PTSD. Post-traumatic.
Oh God. There's the wonders of social media. Everyone's opinion.
No, I mean, Dr. Hinds, in all seriousness, I saw I saw Haiti coming back in terms of the mental aspect of the game. You can see his attitude. You know, not that colored hair and all kinds of stuff in it. So I think even how he approached this last CPL, you know, his approach to the game was different. Now again, we're still in the T20 realm of things. So you know, again, remember that 50 overs is a little bit more demanding and takes a. So he might not even want to play 50 overs, but we're gonna see.
Yeah. My thing is that I cannot, in all seriousness, got Carty and Anthony in the middle of a West Indies team before Hetmeyer. I can't, you know. I mean, I agree with all the criticisms of Hetmeyer. I hear Lance Gibbs say that if he ever meet that boy, he would take out the belt and put some. That is my attitude to Hetmeyer. But I really do think that you can't tell me in the same way that I notice this boy is captain in Barbados team. Your boy, your boy Doc, which means the West Indies selectors may have signaled to the Barbadian selectors they don't have him in the frame.
Yeah, I mean, Mears remains a head scratcher.
Yes.
As to why he did not make that tour.
Yes.
And Mr. Sammy has yet to answer that.
Answer that.
He has not been asked that question. And Sammy needs to answer that question. Why Mears is not in the team?
Yep.
I do not understand that at all. I mean, I am not Mears' biggest fan, but his numbers, his attitude to cricket speak for themselves. And he should be there and thereabout. So when I see him captain in Barbados team, and I said, well, this will probably signal to Barbados, go ahead and pick him because we don't have him in the frame. And that to me is total nonsense.
Yeah, there's something going on there with Mears.
Yeah,
that we don't know about.
Because I asking the Bajans over and over, anybody can't, up to now, nobody can say what, you know, maybe nobody talked to Mears or whatever to ask him why he's not in the team, you know?
Yeah.
Now, Colin is making a point here. No, there's the last part that I have problem that they're first choice because they're contracted players.
No.
But maybe that is the case. I mean, it don't make sense. I wouldn't pick them as first choice because they're contracted player. But is Sammy doing that?
Look. I think if everybody say they're available, Athanaze would struggle to make the team, as well as Carty, right? If Mr. Hetmeyer say he's available to play 50 over two, Puran is available to play 50 over. Those two guys would struggle to be in the mix, and if they're in the mix, they'll be bench warmers, right?
We'll see. We'll see. I think this England series will tell us a
Yeah,
lot.
well, I mean, West Indies board didn't release no team.
Which is quite surprising.
You know, we got this thing started in 3 days. England got their squad, but we ain't seen nothing from West Indies, right? And then we probably gonna hear about the squad the day before the series start.
Yeah, but you know, this beating that England has taken in Pakistan.
Yes, let's go to that now. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm glad you can take us there.
They're coming to the West Indies with a totally kind of different mindset. They've got people are going to be held accountable here now. They cannot go and lose 2 straight series, even though it's a different series. They're coming there to make sure that they reestablish themselves. So, and they've got a really good white ball team without question. So they're gonna put us to a test in the West Indies. However, now we see that they could be handled. I know it's a test. It's a test series in Pakistan, but nevertheless, it's cricket, and some of the players are still going to be there. But again, it's going to be about the English team coming there. So they're going to be coming with very, very seriousness, not to lose in the West Indies. So we have better come with our A game also.
Basil, look, one of your friends, I assume.
That is my high school teacher, Zonti. Now Zonti got the thing mixed up here, man. Hetmeyer was dropped from the West Indies team when Harper was there. That was because he failed fitness tests. They had requirements. He had to make the fitness test, and Hetmeyer failed the fitness test.
That's what he's saying there. But he's just saying it's Harper.
Yeah,
he failed the fitness test under Harper.
Harper never said it.
Roger, if you're listening, this is the view of Clyde, and not necessarily the view of West Indies Cricket 101 or the paddlers here.
That's Zonti's thing.
But I think the larger point Zonti's making is that he got dropped
under
Harper's regime.
Yeah, man. He play basketball, and so we went to Mackenzie High School. Play basketball for Guyana and thing, man.
Is one of them? I know there's like some Clark brothers.
Yes, he's one of them.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Zonti was our PE teacher in high school.
I know.
I get the larger point you're making, sir. I got the larger point you're making, but I don't want you to libel my friend Roger. Gentlemen, 2 spinners. I heard one of the commentators make a point. He said the first bowling change in 7 days, because those 2 Pakistani spinners bowled throughout the second innings of the second test match and opened the bowl in the 3rd test match. And when they brought on the leg spinner, Zahid, I think is his name, brought him on, I think, after about 50 overs in the team match. They said the first bowling change in 7 days. I think it was Goa. I think Goa made that.
Well, look, here, I mean, these ground creators could look at some of the techniques of the Pakistanis. They had heaters and certain fans and so on to make sure the pitch was dry. You know what I mean? And you know, one of the things that we are seeing in these 2 series, although you didn't mention India and the Pakistan series,
we get in there.
This era of batters, they're not as capable playing spin bowling in spinning conditions as their predecessors of the past. And I remember,
why is that?
Yes, Ravi Sastry. This is before he became coach of India. I know he's always been a commentator. He was making the point one time. He said the Indian batters today that play for India are not as good players of spin as the yesterday year guys, because most of them hardly play any Ranji Trophy. Because when you play Ranji Trophy, every team you can see, you will see quality spin bowlers. So if you don't practice your skills, the skills gonna degrade. And India's been getting away because other touring teams come and they don't have as quality spinners as theirs. But every time those touring teams have come with quality spinners and played in spinning condition, they have beaten India. You remember a couple of years ago, Australia destroyed India outright when they played 4 spinners and 1 seam, if I remember, something like that Australia played. Look, look what New Zealand did to them. I mean, Satna. If anybody would tell me Satna,
I know.
Who never took a 5-4
exactly
in any first class cricket.
And he's not even a spinner. He's not a real spinner. Really, he's not.
Like Satna is
He's a white ball. He's more of a white ball player.
Yeah, Satna often don't play Test cricket unless it's some kind of conditions they require. They might want a second spin or something like that, and he to take 13 wickets against them. It tells me, it shows you the skill of playing spin by the Indian batters of today. It's not like yesterday at all. You know,
it's not a. You know, I used to get all kinds of stories. If you go back to the yesteryear, like in Basil father time, men never used to want to go to India, but when the Basil father would tell you, you see when the ball hit, there's dust flying all over the place. He used to say it's like that Boosie wicket up on the quarantine that he used to play with. The dust all over the place.
Yes.
Like, that's how it used to. And then you got, in them days, India used to play 4 spinners.
Yes.
Chandrasekhar, Prasanna, BD,
Venkat.
4 of them.
And I remember, I think it who retired first. I think it's Chandrasekhar who might have retired.
No, Prasanna.
It's Prasanna, no? And they brought in a chap named
Yadav,
Dilip Doshi, and I said, but where these chaps were all the time? Yadav and Doshi, because they were terrors. And then it was pointed out that, as you said, Basil, when you go to the Ranji Trophy team, you got at least each team got 2 quality spinners.
Yeah, Robin Singh told me this. Robin Singh told me, he said in Ranji Trophy, every team got quality spinners. He said, you go through Ranji Trophy, you will be a very decent player of spin, right? Because every team, and that's one of the things with our players. And the other thing Vincent would tell you, when he played Case Cup and so on, every team had some decent spinners.
Yeah.
So every team you came up against, you had to come ready to bat. Right?
Yeah.
That helps to develop your skills to counter all these various decent spinners you're gonna see.
Yeah. Chandrasekhar did not come in 71. So I
know
first time I saw Chandrasekhar, he came with a team called Hyderabad Blues.
Hyderabad Blues, yes.
And was Chandrasekhar quick leg spinner. I used to ask myself if he's a leg spinner or a medium pace.
He's like a slow medium.
Willie Rodriguez was the same thing. You remember Willie Rodriguez?
But on that Hyderabad Blues team, you had about 2 or 3 other spinners there who were high class. I remember sitting on board and watching them and said, well, how these chaps not playing for India?
Yeah. They got, I hear, my father tell me something at time, because he has the same opinion as Sobers, that Gupti is the best leg spinner they have ever played against our scene, right? Including Shane Warne. And I said to me, they got a whole lot of Shane Warnes in all over India. No, I mean, not to say to the great
Right.
The quality of spinners throughout, because when they went on tour, those are the days you played against all the various state teams and so on, our zonal teams, in between test matches. So you got to see guys who were not in the India team that were quality spinners, right? And that's why India was always a place where you come back from India, your skills in playing spin would have gone up. After coming back from there, you come back to the Caribbean and see these guys, man. I just went through the gauntlet in y'all ain't nothing, you know what I mean?
But the other side of the coin is that the New Zealanders were able to make enough runs to win against the Indian spinners.
Yeah, you have to credit the New Zealand batters. The New Zealand batter, their opening batter, that South African guy Conway, is a tremendous player.
Oh yes,
I remember the first test that guy put on a master class. I tell somebody, I go in the chat, y'all watching this guy put on a master class how to play spin, using the depth of the crease, using his feet, sweeping. He brought out the whole repertoire that one, and in difficult spinning conditions against quality spinners, top world-class spinners, he was doing this against. So and the New Zealand commentator was saying he is their best player of spin in the team. And imagine New Zealand doing this without one of their greatest, the greatest batsman in Williamson.
Yeah. And Conway, had he reviewed in this second innings, he wasn't out. Had he reviewed, he would have been there.
I don't understand that how. I still don't understand how a batsman would not know where he touch a ball. At least that has never been. I don't care how thin a touch you get.
Talk to us about that, because that was the debate among the commentators. And
I've heard. I mean, some people say that batters sometimes they don't know that they touch the ball. But I like Vincent. Every time I have touched the ball,
it doesn't matter how thin you get to the
edge, I know I touched the ball.
Because that puzzled me. Because people say maybe the noise in the crowd.
No, you just feel it.
You just feel it, man. You feel the thin edge, man. You feel the thin edge.
You just feel it.
Yeah. I mean, some of these guys today, sometimes,
But the other player that I love is this young, what is it, Rajendra?
Yes. Ravindra, yes.
Ravindra, this guy, let me tell you something. This guy is gonna be one of the superstars of the future. His composure, and he's very, very talented. He is very talented.
Vincent and Dr. Hinds. Ravindra played in the same under 19 World Cup with Atenes, which Atenes was a dominant batsman. Now look where Ravindra is as a test batsman, and look where Atenes is as a test batsman.
Yeah.
So these are the challenges we in the West Indies have to address, because we are not doing something correct, obviously, in developing our players to be world class. And in my view is that West Indies have never looked at this thing holistically. They've looked at it piecemeal. And that's why we still continue. It's like certain things we keep kicking the can down the road. Like, for example, the foundation of our cricket is our club cricket, which is in disrepair throughout the region. This is a problem across the region, is in disrepair, right? And until we solidify and professionalize that structure with high performance principles, we're going to be struggling, because you can't skip stages in development.
But right? The other thing too, Basil, we have a culture, again, which is different to the old time days, when you gotta make runs all the time. Yes. Nowadays, you make a little 50, and them long-term Basil can tell you, you got Peter Lashley, you got Renford Pinnock, you got Morris Foster,
Ralston Otto. Ralston Otto from
them men making runs like rain. Everybody, you got to fight for your place. Nowadays, a man make a little 50, he gets
the team right
then
away.
no competition.
I mean, look at the youngster Joel Andrew. Joel Andrew, he got 100, and he got on the Tour of the West Indies team.
Yep.
I mean, he's a good little youngster coming up, but you gotta be a little bit more discerning in just pushing people up to the highest level. We don't have the structure to say, look at a youngster and say, boy, he tick off all the boxes, send you up to the highest level.
Here, Basil Father used to always say, nobody don't you better make 100. Nobody don't remember 99 of them. You better make 100. I remember one time I playing in a case cup. A guy used to make plenty 60s and 70s. I just get out batting good at Everest 65, walking and passing Basil over coming in. He said, wait a minute, you don't like to make 100? Go and sit down in that pavilion and I can show you how to make 100. 144, you make that up.
No, I do not mind the little Andrew boy getting into the team. But you have to have people like Puran and the other batsmen who are there. So he's not going to be exposed very early. He's going to be learning, right? Imagine if Rutherford and Lewis.
He would have to come into.
He would have to come in that pressure situation. Come in there, and obviously, chances of him doing well would be slim. And then his confidence drops, and there goes another Darren Bravo, another. So I agree with you all. I think he's a talented youngster. He should be around the team. I think push him in. Make sure you have the senior batters in the team so that he would not be exposed to pressure situations.
Not only that, look, we got a team coming up next year, right? And he hopefully he is in the Leeward Islands listed team. I don't know, but we got South Africa A coming to the region next year. That's where he should be starting to get his international exposure. Because our structure, our guys don't tick off all the boxes.
No.
So and you got to make sure they've ticked off these boxes at the lower levels before you start to push them up to the international level. Because then all you're doing is hoping for the best. You would not have the same expectations that you would have if you feel this youngster has ticked off the boxes and you expect this youngster to be able to go out there and compete and be successful, right? I see this guy ask about Moti as a batter versus bowler. Moti is a useful batsman.
He's a useful batsman.
Nothing beyond over useful. He's staying at useful, but he is a bowler.
Yeah. No, I was just about to say the talented Kyle Hooper was not pushed into the test team right away. We went to New Zealand, if you all remember, as part of the one-day team.
But Dr. Hinds, Kyle Hooper came up in a different era.
An
era where our cricket was competitive.
Right.
So for Kyle Hooper to come through the ranks, and those who were in Guyana at the time will tell you were there, Dr. Hinds, so you would know you the foreign cricket. Hooper used to make a bundle of first division runs.
Plenty.
It wasn't like Hooper, because he was talented, to push Hooper in the place. Hooper earned his space by sheer runs he was making, right? And Hooper went and played the game in Barbados against, albeit an agent Wayne Daniel and so on, but probably the way in which he played against them, that they said this little boy is is earmarked, right? And he then
he came in a team with Richards and Greenwich and all them.
But he went to Zimbabwe before he got.
Yes, he went to Zimbabwe.
He went on the what they used to call him B team tours. And played against Zimbabwe before he got elevated to the West Indies team.
Right.
So again, it's not like we look at this brilliant youngster and also at that time we were the best team in the world. So you ain't walking in just into the best team in the world like that. Hooper had to really show, my view, as I always say, Hooper could bat with anybody in his era, just that his runs don't match up with all of them.
Basil Butcher Jr., Dr. Vincent Adams, former opening batsman. And TCC captain.
In my personal story, we talking about competition just to show you. At one time in Guyana, we had 5 Guyanese batsmen who were in the test team. 5.
Yeah.
And I remember after I'd come off of that accident, come back, first game, 100 into county. We had trials, but could not get to play in the Guyana team because, you know what I said? We got Fredrickson Kamash in there already who played for the West Indies.
I always wanted to ask you that question. When you came back from the accident, how come you didn't get back into the team?
Yeah, that was it. Because when right after I came back from the accident, it took me 2 years to come back. The first big game was in the county, 1972. A bus 130 or whatever it is on them. And we didn't even have trials because rain. So you would have thought the county team would and they said, well, bye, you can't play because you got Fredo and Kamash. And in them days when you opening, you're playing your batting number 3 and 4 and all kind of things.
And then think about it, in that same team, Fredo and Kamash for the West Indies, Kali Turan right at the corner to get him picked for the West Indies.
That's right.
They got Clive Lloyd.
Kanai was still coming home and playing 72.
So Clive captained the team for some of the games in 72. Clive captained the team. Right? Yeah. So you got Kali Turan made his debut against New Zealand there.
That's right. That's right.
And then when Vincent talking from earlier days, if you go back to 71 or 1970, Kamash and Fredo, then you get Kanai, Butcher.
That's
right. Salman.
Well, Salman didn't play anymore.
Salman retired in 70, no?
69
after 6. Yeah.
So I mean, how you look at Vincent Mears? Vincent Mears had to back out position to play for Guyana.
Yeah.
Because the middle order was the West Indies, Butcher, Salomon, and Kanai. That's the middle order.
Vincent Mears, I always say, because Vincent Mears played for Mackenzie when I was a little boy. And I looked at this man and I said, I just always say, maybe I said he's the best batsman that I have seen and played with in the West Indies who hadn't played Test cricket.
Yeah, I mean, I know the Obai tell me, come, he said, bye. Mercy boss we ass in Jones. Mercy put some big hundreds against Borbis and Jones. But just unfortunate for Mercy used to always say that. He said, man, the guy in the middle order was a West Indies middle order. I can't get in. Look, a guy like Leslie Amsterdam. Look how Amsterdam. And the Obai tell me Amsterdam was a hell of a batsman.
Yeah, your Obai is always talk with you.
Yeah, but he said Leslie was a hell, but he couldn't get into the team much. He get into
the away. Look, Mersey was ahead. A lot of people in reality, Mersey was even ahead of Clive.
Yes.
In was it
64? Yeah.
Mersey played the first game was against Trinidad.
Trinidad, yes.
Mersey made 47
and get dropped.
And when they go to Barbados to bring Clive in because Clive didn't play the first game.
Right, they dropped
Clive in. They put Mersey for open batting.
Yes, oh yeah, that's right.
Against
that's the match when Mersey open with Kamash.
That's
against,
right. Wes and Charlie.
Against Charlie Griffin.
Mersey never opened batting in his life before, and they put you up.
Sacrifice him.
And Mersey never catch himself after that.
Yeah, because Mersey asked Mersey said he wasn't a non-strike yet. And Charlie Griffin run up a both 6 volley. The first time you can see this Charlie Griffin, right? Mersey said, does it Charlie Griffin?
That's what Mersey is
that SKUNT to me is real. So Mersey said he walked down and they ended you over. He goes, Stephen. He says, Stephen, the man gave you 6 volleys and you just push them back up the track. Hey, Stephen, now bye. Me want to get Charlie vex. The story goes.
Yeah, go ahead, Basil.
Yeah, Mersey, Charlie Griffin, ball one. Well, Mersey could have cut good.
Yeah.
And ball one and Mersey put the square cut. The ball, Kensington had a scoreboard and guys said the concrete. The ball, the point man had to retreat. The ball bounced back still back in how hard Mersey hit it, right? And Mersey must he walk down and tap his bat and
no, a pong in the Kimber.
Pong in his side. Where would be a type part of thing? Well, you know, Mersey shot, so it can't be a bumper. So Charlie give you one that would be short of a length of Mersey. Get this. Here Charlie Griffin tell me. I didn't want the short man to get no confidence. when I gave him that one and I see here he got hard, I said, God, blind, I got him here. And he give Mersey the next one and send Mersey in. They will buy 7 Mersey, come here, Mersey T. Butch, that guy's a murderer.
I hear Charlie say, Charlie when walking back, Charlie saying, in ponging in Kimber.
You know one thing, when I see Charlie Griffith, this is going back 2008, right? We go to Barbados, a test match. I mean, he's sitting down and I said, Mr. Griffith, you remember that game against Ghana with Vincent Mears? He said, oh, yes, man. I remember that game. I said, we talk about that game in the park, you know. He said, you all talk. I said, yes. And Mears put the square cut in you. And he said, yes, that's the short man. You know?
Basil, you got to tell him the story. Was another game when Rohan?
Yes. There's a game. Carlisle talk the story, and I go and ask you, boy. Can I come into bat? And the first ball was all scattered the stumps, but a new ball.
Yeah.
And as Carlisle using Carlisle said, they could fix the kerchief. That was there, Carlisle used to wear the kerchief.
Yes, he's wearing the kerchief.
Fix the kerchief. And he went to work. If you see blows.
But I listen to that every ball.
Many one ball.
And Salama stand up at one and Salama make 60-something.
Yes. Right, because the same match, I read about it in Sober's book. The Obai walk on the LBW.
Yeah.
When I read it, I said, wait, were you the Frankie? He said, no, Skipper. I know I didn't, because you know me, Obai used to pads, he used to tell me pads broad. He said, Skipper, I know I out when I get knocked plumps. I walk, right? Because Sober's right in the book, that was the first time you ever see a batsman walk on the LBW, right? But then Obai come back in the second innings. And what can I do in the first innings? He doing the second innings. He said every time Charlie pop and he put it in water and he tap his bat and look up at him. Bring it right back there. You know, Mr. Dr. Hinds, I would love to be able to go back in a time machine and go back and to see, particularly Guyana against Barbados. That was like a mini test. You know what I mean? When them two teams clashed in the 60s, man, I could imagine.
And Basil, in them days, that Barbados wicket was 10 times faster than it is today.
Yes, that was
West Indies sport.
Them times, that Barbados wicket was a flyby.
And what the Obai tell me, he said the first session is belong to the bowler in Barbados, right? Because they think. But he said if you get through the first hour or so, he said Kensington is a lovely place to bat. Because you can play all your shots. The ball come on, the ball bounce nice and so on.
Yeah.
But it was a pitch you put in where if you put in, you're gonna get some. The fast bowlers had a chance, and the batters could play the shot. So it meant for entertaining cricket. You know, we ain't got pitches like that in the Caribbean. The only one that's close to that is St. Lucia.
Yeah.
You know,
gentlemen.
All right.
Always a pleasure. Always
Yes.
a pleasure and reminiscing on.
I think Dr. Hinds is good to reminisce because I think some of the older folks would like to hear about the days they remember, and some of the younger folks to learn about West Indies cricket because a lot of them don't have a clue the legacy of West Indies cricket, the legacy that West Indies cricket has. You know?
Yeah. I remember back in 2001 there that when I met you for the first time,
yes.
Butch and Hooper was telling us about what goes on in it. I remember he said, Andrew Light said, "Why you don't go there facing Garner, Marshall, and then by you going out there is why you don't go there." Just so.
I mean, there's a guy, a lot of people might remember him, a guy from Jamaica named Herbert Chang.
Oh yes,
and
he go went to South Africa.
South Africa. But he had to go South Africa because Herbert Chang scores so much runs in Shell Shield. And not only that, if you remember in them days, when you go in Barbados and you make runs, you in the side. Herbert Chang go in Barbados 2 or 3 times against the West Indies 4-prong. Clark, Garner, Daniel, and Marshall. And make 150. I didn't even get a car for the tour. So when South Africa come round, he was said, look, buddy, I'm making 400 and change, nearly 400, then again 400.
Yeah.
And I can't get picked for the West Indies team, buddy. I you know what I mean? It's not like
and in those days, the Jamaica middle order with Rowe, Chang, Morris Foster, put Pinnock in there for good measure. And at the top, Easton McMorris. And that was a frightening.
Yeah.
And Chang was a talk man because the very
he used to chat.
Yeah, the very first time he played against Barbados, he make 100. I think it was like 76 or something like that. He tell Garner before they go, Harry, I hear they call you Big Bird. I'm gonna clip your wings today. And he gonna make 100, but he like that. He now go to the Antigua and go and tell the big Anderson Montgomery Everton Roberts.
Oh Lord.
What he gonna do to you before? Roberts give you 2 golden ducks, 2 first ball ducks. Both innings he get first ball ducks for Roberts.
Yeah,
Certain men you don't talk to. And Roberts is one of them. Yeah. Let's sleep in dog's life with Sir Andy.
I see Roberts break all the way little by hearted border against Farid Bacchus.
Oh yeah.
I remember
what Bacchus is doing. Bacchus
Eddie.
Run down the wicket to
caught Eddie Bowl Roberts. I remember.
Where Farwood is going? Farwood. You imagine Farwood chipping down to Andy Roberts.
Chipping down to Roberts.
What madman could you be? You chipping down to Andy Roberts.
That time, that's the first time I'm going school by stand. The first time I graduate from real school by stand. He said, well, all right, but it's against Roberts now. Bacchus is going to prove it. Caught Eddie Ball Roberts, my story done. Thank you all very much.
All right,
thank you all in the
audience. Guys. Thanks.
For another program. See you all next week. The Englishmen will be here.
Yes. Yeah, we'll be able to talk about some of those matches already would have started, yes.
Thank you. Yeah. And hope the West Indies do what they always do when the British come.
Yeah,
Marcel, I hope we can get the live broadcast too.
Yeah. That should come over on ESPN Plus.
ESPN or Sky. I think Sky is going to carry it. ESPN or Sky. Yeah.
No, wait, you talking about Sky, Doctor, because you got the IPTV.
It's not the same thing you get to.
Yeah, right? Like how we was able to watch a series in I was able to connect to Rush Sports.
To Rush, yes.
TNT UK to watch this.
Right. This recent series.
They bring it Willow didn't bring it at all.
No, but hopefully West Indies are going to stream it on YouTube. But
no, they won't stream it on YouTube.
They won't stream it on YouTube.
Unless the contract with ESPN Plus is up, because they got the rights to West Indies home games in the USA.
Oh, okay.
ESPN Plus, yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Thank you all, brothers. And thank you in the audience. Another Sunday, another edition of West Indies Cricket 101. See you all next week.
Rude boys gonna get you by degrees. Here comes the West Indies. And when you're facing the generals, nearly every ball is a funeral. And when we batting, brother, go and put your men on the boundary line. And if you give we a liquor, that is merely a hiccup. Look, you win the little battle, you lose the war. It's the same result every time. Everybody sing. Here comes the West Indies. Here comes the West Indies. Them rude boys gonna get you by degrees. Here comes the West Indies. I tell you now, here comes the West Indies. Here comes the West